The downfall of SAVAK. How Iran's secret police met its end. For decades, SAVAK ruled through fear. It was the Shah's enforcer, crushing dissent with brutal efficiency, silencing opposition with torture, surveillance, and assassination. But in the late 1970s, the tide began to turn. The very methods that had once kept the monarchy in power were now fueling the anger that would bring it crashing down. The fall of SAVAK was not just the collapse of a feared institution, it was the final proof that no dictatorship could survive forever. By 1978, Iran was on the brink of revolution. Years of economic hardship, political repression, and growing resentment toward the Shah had pushed the country to a breaking point. Protests erupted across Iran, starting with students and religious groups but quickly spreading to workers, intellectuals, and ordinary citizens. SAVAK responded the only way it knew how, with violence. Demonstrators were beaten, arrested, and in many cases, shot in the streets. But this time, the fear tactics failed. The more people SAVAK tried to suppress, the more they rose up. The massacre on Black Friday, September 8, 1978, was the turning point. In an effort to crush the protests, SAVAK and the military opened fire on unarmed demonstrators in Tehran, killing hundreds. Instead of silencing the revolution, the massacre ignited national outrage. Strikes paralyzed the economy, more protests erupted, and even members of the Shah's own inner circle began questioning his leadership. SAVAK itself started to fracture. Some lower-ranking agents, sensing the regime's collapse, fled or refused to carry out orders. Others continued their brutal crackdowns, believing that they could still control the situation. But by late 1978, the revolution had grown beyond their reach. The streets belonged to the people, and even SAVAK's vast surveillance network could no longer keep up. In January 1979, the Shah fled Iran. Without him, SAVAK was leaderless. Revolutionaries stormed its headquarters, burning documents, freeing prisoners, and exposing the dark secrets of Iran's most feared institution. Files containing the names of informants, agents, and torture victims were destroyed or leaked to the public. Some former SAVAK officers were captured and executed, while others went into hiding or fled the country. After the Shah's departure, the new revolutionary government wasted no time dismantling SAVAK. Ayatollah Khomeini, now the leader of Iran, declared the agency dissolved. In its place, a new intelligence service was created, the Islamic Republic's Ministry of Intelligence, MOS, which would go on to use many of the same methods SAVAK had perfected, but now in service of the new regime. The fall of SAVAK was a moment of reckoning. For years, it had operated as a force of terror, believing that repression alone could keep the Shah in power. But in the end, it had only fueled the very revolution it was trying to prevent. The people who had once whispered in fear of SAVAK's spies were now the ones tearing down its walls. The enforcers who had ruled through intimidation now found themselves hunted. SAVAK's downfall was a lesson in the limits of fear. No matter how powerful a secret police force may seem, no regime can survive when its own people have nothing left to fear. And when that fear is gone, even the most brutal dictatorships can crumble in an instant.